Hey, what's up everyone? My name is Chris, and today we're going to learn 6 different expressions related to money. For each word, we're going to talk about the definition, some examples, and a few common mistakes that I hear. And at the end of the video, you'll see a few clips from TV shows, movies, and YouTube videos that actually use the expressions that I'm teaching in this video. If there's a particular word that you're curious about or that you want to skip to, take a look at the description. You can just skip directly to whatever word you're curious about. The first expression is to be broke. When you're broke, it just means that you don't have enough money, or you don't feel like you have enough money. I think this concept of being broke is very subjective. Some people can have $10,000 in their bank account and they feel like they're broke. But on the other hand, another person can have $1 in their account, but they don't feel like they're broke. Brokenness is more of a state of mind where you have this poverty that you feel. Here's some examples. Hey, if you're broke, please don't even bother asking me out on a date. I'm looking for a sugar daddy. Look, the truth is, he's renting that fancy car. He lost everything during the divorce and he's totally broke. I was always broke until I figured out how to balance my budget. Send me your credit card information and I'll show you how. I think the biggest mistake that I hear when people are talking about being broke is forgetting the verb to be. Broke is an adjective. Here we need the verb to be to express this concept. I am broke. I was broke. I will be broke. We need the verb to be with broke in order for it to work. Next we have to give in to something. When you give in to something, it means that there is some kind of external pressure that is trying to convince you to do something. Usually it's another person, or maybe an emotion, or sometimes it's even like a voice in your head that's telling you, just do it. You know you want to do it, come on. When you finally say yes to this person or feeling or force, this means that you gave in to that thing. Here's some examples. Okay, so I gave in and I bought another dog. I mean, how can you resist those eyes? Also, do you think 6 puppies is too many, or is it okay? Look at me. When we walk into that grocery store, you're gonna see the Girl Scouts selling their cookies. Don't even look at them. They have some kind of magic spell that they can put on you with their eyes. Don't give in, just keep walking, don't even look at them. Yeah, so she offered me a lot of money to teach her kid, but I didn't give in. How am I supposed to teach an infant? There are a couple of mistakes related to giving in to something, and they're both related to the prepositions that are used with this phrasal verb. First of all, it is important to recognize that if you are recognizing the thing, the pressure, the force, the person that you're saying yes to, this is the only time that we need to use the word to. So I gave in to temptation. I gave in to the seller. I gave in to the Girl Scouts selling their Girl Scout cookies. Otherwise, if you don't mention the thing, you can just say I gave in. The other mistake that people tend to make with this phrasal verb is putting the words in and to together to make it into. Here, if you are mentioning the thing that you're saying yes to, here, these 2 words are going to be separate. I gave in to her, or I gave in to my discouraging thoughts, or something like that. Hey, are you enjoying this video so far, but you actually want to use the words that I'm teaching in a discussion with me and some other English learners? Send an email to languagewithchris and let me know that you want to join my group conversation classes. Hope to see you there. Next, we have to lend something. When you lend someone something, it means that you give them something, but you're expecting for them to, at some point in time, give it back to you. Here's some examples. Hey, it's super cold in here. I will lend you my jacket if you promise to give it back. Okay, I can lend you a few dollars this time, but this has to be the last time. I'm still waiting for you to pay me back from 3 weeks ago. There are two main mistakes that I hear from my students related to the word lend. First of all, it is very, very often confused with the word borrow. When you borrow something, it means that you're receiving something. And when you lend someone something, it means that you're giving that thing. I guess the other mistake that I hear the most is forgetting the past tense of this verb. Here, the past tense of lend is lent, L-E-N-T. Next, we have to be a ripoff. When something is a ripoff, it means that this thing is way more expensive than it should be. Most of my students have tried to equate this word to something like the vendor is trying to steal from you because they're charging you so much more than they should be. Here are a few examples. That computer program is such a ripoff. I heard you can download it for free online. Don't waste your money on that course that she made about Googling stuff. You can literally Google everything that's related to this. It just doesn't make any sense. It's a ripoff. Airline tickets are so cheap nowadays that it actually makes me think that the prices they were charging us before were an absolute ripoff. There are a couple of common mistakes related to this expression. The first one is forgetting that hyphen or the dash in the middle of the word. Now you might be wondering, wait a minute, Chris, I think I've seen this expression with the two words separate without a hyphen. Well, here, that's where grammar comes into play. When we are talking about the thing, a noun, this is when we say that it is a rip dash off, a rip off. On the other hand, you can use this expression in a verb. You could say that the vendor ripped me off. Here, those three words are separate. He ripped me off. Next, we have to mooch off of someone. When somebody mooches off of you, it means that they are being a financial parasite. They are expecting for you to pay for all their stuff. I mean, maybe they're not being like totally overt about it, but they're like, oh, well, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for this. I don't know. Chris, do you think you could do anything? I mean, you don't have to. Here, this person is totally mooching off you. Here are some examples. I don't know, I'm afraid that they're gonna think that I'm mooching off of them if I ask them to stay another night. I think I'm just gonna leave and get a room in a hotel. She doesn't feel like her son is mooching off of her, but he is 50 and she is still paying his rent. It doesn't make any sense to me. I hate feeling like I'm mooching off of my family. This is why I never ask for any money. I will accept food, but not money. A couple of confusing things related to this concept of mooching off or mooching off of someone is whether or not you need to include the word of. It is important to recognize that off and of are two different words. If you are talking about the person who is being taken advantage of, then yes, you definitely need to remember that word off. He's mooching off her. They are mooching off me. The word of here is totally optional. You're gonna hear both forms. Another mistake that people make is leaving the preposition out completely. So saying things like, they are mooching me, instead of they are mooching off of me. Hey look, I know this is a lot of information. Are you feeling worried that you misunderstood something or that you might forget? Well, if you look in the description of this video on YouTube, you can find a link that takes you to a quiz to see how well you understood everything. In the quiz, there's some stuff related to common mistakes and just remembering what the words mean. Alright, finally we've got the expression to splurge on something. When you splurge on something, it means that you buy something and it's like a reward for yourself for being a good parent or a good worker, or maybe you just haven't bought anything for yourself in a long time. In this case, you would say that you splurged on something. Here are some examples. Oh, come on, you are an amazing musician. You deserve to splurge on a new guitar here and there. Oh my gosh, I think I need to stop splurging so often. My accountant thinks I'm an idiot. Oh, so you just want me to splurge on something? How am I supposed to do that when I have no money in the first place? Not everyone is as rich as you are. There are a few confusions and mistakes related to this expression. First of all, I think a lot of people think about this concept differently than I do. Here, a lot of my students say that splurging is the same as wasting money, but I guess it kind of depends on the way that you think of it. It's a very subjective verb. So here, when you splurge on something, this means that you feel like you deserve it. You feel like it's a good idea, and whatever you're getting is worth it, no matter if it's going to add to your household or your worth as a person or whatever. On the other hand, when you waste your money, this is like it was a bad idea, you regret it, it was stupid. It's all about how you think about it. So the word splurge does not have a bad connotation naturally. Here, when I think about splurging, I think about fun. I think about, allowing myself to enjoy something. But if I think about wasting my money, it's like I'm being foolish, I made a stupid decision, something like that. So it's all about how you think about it. In addition to that, I also hear a lot of people saying that they splurge money or they splurge themselves on something. But here, we don't even need that concept of money or yourself. All of this is just totally included in the word splurge. If you want to include the thing that you're buying, then yes, you do need to remember the preposition on. You splurged on a new pair of boots. I splurged on this new camera, for example. But otherwise, if you're not including the thing that you are gonna buy, you just say, oh yeah, you know what, this weekend I think I'm gonna splurge. And then later on, I can include whatever I'm talking about. Another thing, a lot of people tell me about how difficult this word is to pronounce. I know, it's not the easiest word to pronounce. Maybe that's why I left it for the last word. Here, all right, so we've got an S consonant cluster. A lot of my Spanish-speaking and Portuguese-speaking students have issues with this. So here, whenever you have an issue with this, make the S sound longer. Instead of S splurge, here say hold that S sound. Splurge. Splurge. And here kind of hold out that sound. Splurge. Splurge. That's how I say it. Hey, congratulations! You made it to the end of the video. You're one of like 1% of the people that watch these videos. I know. So if you like the video, then click that like button, share it with whoever you want, leave a comment if you have any questions or comments. And don't forget about that quiz in the description down here. For the end of the video, you get to see some of the clips of the words that we were talking about to kind of give you a little refresher about the things that we talked about during this class. All right, see you. Goodbye.
I thought you had $200.
I do, but I won't spend Red's money. I'm broke. Give it up, Red.
I can't afford to do that. I'm broke, okay?
Are you kidding? With this apartment and that wig?
So if he decides to walk away from his breakfast with nothing, well, I'm going to remind him, okay, nothing more now till snack. Then I do not give in on that. I don't give in to any begging for crackers. I don't let him have any extra milk. It's 2 hours until the next meal.
When his closest friend is blown up in front of him, his idea of courage, of masculinity, is to carry on. You know, the stiff upper lip. Don't give in, don't show any emotion, just move on, forget it, put it behind you. And he's realized that he can't do this.
You lend me the $70, and if I win, I'll pay you back.
I will lend books to people, but of course the rule is don't do that unless you never intend to see that book again.
The whole carnival is a ripoff.
You know, excuse me, but I agree. These rides are really stupid. Chamber of Farts isn't scary at all.
Yeah, and the food is terrible.
What's the cheapest thing you've got?
A 2-ounce bag of chips, $5.99.
$5.99? What a ripple!
Who bought this stuff?
Not me.
Course not. Bill buy beer? No need to do that when you got friends to mooch off of.
She said she was going to do that this time.
She says she's going to stay here and mooch off us forever?
She's not mooching.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. How'd she get all those new clothes she bought, huh? The salary she doesn't make?
Ugh, if we survive this, I want to splurge and go to a fancy restaurant.
Mayor West, what do you plan to do if you win the lottery?
Well, I'd finally splurge and buy myself one of those fancy four-piece suits.